Imagine your kidneys as two quiet guardians, standing watch as they clean nearly 50 gallons of blood every day. They do this silently, without complaint, and most of us never think about them at all. If you want to understand what really happens inside your body, stay with me and consider subscribing today, because this story gets more important the deeper we go. Now, bring sugar into the picture, and those guardians are suddenly pushed into overtime. Extra sugar doesn't just raise blood glucose levels. It subtly changes how filtration works, forcing the kidneys to process more waste than their systems were designed to handle. At first, nothing feels wrong, but slowly that extra workload begins to strain their structure in ways you cannot feel. Research shows that high sugar intake raises the risk of glomerular hyperfiltration, a state where the kidneys filter too much blood too fast. On the surface, that sounds efficient. In reality, it's like holding your car engine at maximum RP all day. For a while, it runs. Eventually, components begin to wear down. Here's what makes this especially dangerous. Kidney damage rarely announces itself early. There's no sharp pain, no clear alarm. By the time symptoms appear, the kidneys are often already struggling. That's the unsettling part most people never realize. Removing sugar, even for just 30 days, can give these organs a rare chance to recover. It's like finally letting those guards step off duty after years of nonstop work. But the real surprise isn't what happens at the end of the month. It's what starts happening almost immediately. The first 72 hours without sugar are often the most challenging. Headaches, mood swings, and intense cravings are common because the brain is suddenly cut off from its favorite fast fuel. Sugar creates quick glucose spikes, and then the brain protests when they disappear. Inside your body, pressure on the kidneys begins to ease. With less sugar circulating, the filtration system is no longer under constant stress. Studies show that lowering sugar intake reduces advanced glycation end products, molecules that speed up kidney age. In just a few days, the blood becomes cleaner and kidney efficiency starts to improve. This adjustment phase can feel uncomfortable. The body resists at first, then recalibrates. As days pass, cravings soften, energy levels even out, and the kidneys settle into a calmer rhythm. Here's a detail most people never hear. Every sugary drink or dessert sends excess glucose into your bloodstream, and your kidneys must deal with it. Unlike fats or proteins, sugar floods the system quickly. The kidneys act like sponges, soaking up the overflow. Over long periods, this repeated burden damages nephrons, the microscopic filters that make kidney function possible. Picture a paper filter doing its job with clean water. Now imagine running sticky syrup through it again and again. It clogs, weakens, and eventually fails. Researchers have found that people who regularly consume large amounts of added sugar face a much higher risk of chronic kidney disease. Even young, healthy-feeling people can accumulate damage decades before any warning signs appear. Many individuals only discover kidney problems after more than 2/3 of function is already lost. By then, recovery options are limited. Cutting sugar earlier is prevention. Sugar also interferes with blood pressure control. When sugar intake is high, insulin rises, signaling the kidneys to hold on to sodium and water. The result is higher blood pressure, swelling, and added stress on kidney blood vessels. The encouraging part is what happens when sugar is removed. Water retention begins to reverse. Over the following weeks, blood pressure often drops, and the kidneys regain a more balanced workload gradually. For many people, that change alone can lower the risk of kidney damage linked to high blood pressure. It's like turning down the volume in a loud room. Suddenly, the kidneys are no longer fighting constant noise and can work in calmer conditions. Now let's talk about one of the most painful kidney problems, kidney stones. Most people blame salt or dehydration, but sugar often plays a hidden role. High sugar intake increases calcium release into urine, making crystal formation more likely. Over time, those crystals can harden into kidney stones. Research published in the Journal of Urology shows that people with the highest added sugar intake face a much higher risk of kidney stones than those who consume less. And it's not only soda. Cakes, candies, sweet snacks, and even fruit juices labeled healthy can deliver large amounts of hidden sugar. The alarming part is that once someone has a kidney stone, the likelihood of another rises sharply. Here's the hopeful side. Within about 30 days of cutting sugar, urine chemistry begins shifting in a healthier direction, lowering the risk of stones forming. 1 month of discipline can spare you years of pain. I'm curious, have you or someone close to you ever experienced kidney stones? You can share your experience in the comments. When sugar leaves the diet, the kidneys begin something remarkable: gradual self-repair. Although these organs have limited regenerative ability, studies suggest lower sugar intake reduces inflammation, allowing nephrons, the kidney's filters, to recover function. It's like sending a repair crew into a city after years of traffic. When roads are no longer under constant strain, cracks can be patched and weak areas reinforced. The kidneys respond in a similar way. During a sugar-free period, they take advantage of the reduced workload to restore balance. One early sign of recovery is a drop in protein leaking into the urine, a warning sign of kidney damage. As sugar intake falls, this leakage often decreases, showing the filtration barrier is strengthening. This isn't magic. It's biology. By stepping away from sugar, you give your kidneys room to heal, and this leads to a larger danger. If sugar is gasoline, diabetes is the wildfire. Uncontrolled diabetes remains a leading cause of kidney failure worldwide, fueled by diets high in added sugars. Constant high blood glucose damages kidney blood vessels over time, progressing toward diabetic nephropathy slowly. When you remove sugar for 30 days, insulin sensitivity usually improves. That means the body needs less insulin to manage glucose, easing the burden on both the pancreas and the kidneys. It becomes a chain reaction of recovery. Researchers show that even modest cuts in sugar can sharply reduce the risk of moving from prediabetes to type 2 diabetes, and fewer diabetes cases mean fewer people heading toward dialysis. What feels like harmless sweetness can be, for kidneys, the line between long-term health and a slow, silent decline. Ongoing sugar intake drives inflammation, not only around the waist, but deep inside vital organs. Elevated blood glucose sparks oxidative stress, inflaming kidney tissue and leaving it vulnerable to scarring. Once scar tissue forms, lost kidney function does not return. Yet within 30 days of removing sugar, studies report inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein beginning to fall. Lower inflammation protects blood vessels and kidney tissue, preserving filtration ability. This shift often brings side benefits too: clearer skin, fewer headaches, and steadier energy. It shows how kidney health is tightly linked to whole body wellness. Think of inflammation like rust on metal. Reducing sugar slows the corrosion, giving kidneys a chance to last longer, stronger, and healthier. You might ask whether 30 days can truly matter. The answer is yes. While damage builds over years, improvements in kidney stress markers can appear within weeks. Blood pressure trends downward, protein leakage decreases, and filtration efficiency improves. Urine may even look clearer, reflecting reduced waste overload. These subtle signs indicate stabilization. It's important to remember that 30 days is not the finish line, but the starting point. Like a trial run, it reveals how powerful low sugar living can be. Once energy, mood, and kidney markers improve, the question naturally becomes, why return to old habits? Improved insulin handling also lightens the workload on kidney blood vessels. With fewer glucose spikes, delicate capillaries experience less strain, helping preserve steady filtration pressure. This stability matters because kidneys rely on precise pressure balance to function correctly. When sugar intake drops, hormonal signals normalize, sodium handling improves, and fluid balance becomes easier to control. Together, these changes reduce long-term stress that quietly accelerates decline. Small shifts, repeated daily, accumulate into meaningful protection that science consistently observes across metabolic studies over time, reinforcing resilience without extreme interventions or deprivation for most people long-term. Here's the final turn. Many people who complete 30 days without sugar experience benefits strong enough that they choose not to go back. Long-term studies support this choice, showing that people who keep sugar intake low face far lower risks of kidney disease, heart disease, and diabetes. The kidneys do not only benefit for a month, they benefit for life when sugar is kept in check. Each day without added sugar is another layer of protection against a future tied to dialysis. An occasional treat is unlikely to cause harm, but daily excess will. Moderation protects. Removal heals. If this video helped, like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs motivation. Tell us in the comments what change you plan to make next.